Okay, welcome to BWTM Sports Gamer. We're going to go straight into this article. Very interesting one. Remember I said to you about a week and 2 weeks ago, in fact, I did a video. People say, oh, the fight's on, announcement date, the fight's on. And I never replied to these people because they were like all excited because they had an announcement. I said, in a couple of weeks, we'll start to hear what's really going on. Well, John Fury, you all know who John Fury is, the father of Tyson Fury. These are not my words. These are John Fury's words, okay? Let's hear what Mr. Fury's got to say about this whole scenario. Because they've signed nothing in my eyes. Tyson Fury's father, John, blasts Cowboys in charge of Anthony Joshua deal, insisting the historic Battle of Britain showdown is too big to be held amid the pandemic. Tyson Fury and Joshua have signed a deal for 2 historic showdowns. However, both the date and the venue for the first fight has yet to be finalized. John Fury is unconvinced by the deal and believes it won't happen this year. WBC champion's father says Fury Jr. needs to fight twice in 2021. We've heard this come out of Tyson Fury's mouth come out as well. This was the 28th of March, 2021. The biggest fight in British boxing history isn't as close as it seems, according to John Fury, who's questioned the deal signed by Anthony Joshua and his son Tyson. Eddie Hearn confirmed to Sportsmail earlier this month that all sides put pen to paper on a bumper 2-fight deal, ramping up to anticipation of a heavyweight unification scrap this summer. However, no date or venue has been decided, though Saudi Arabia is the favourite, and Fury Senior has voiced his doubts over the Battle of Britain taking place anytime soon. You need him, Tyson, out, whether these Cowboys get the job sorted, which I don't think they're going to do, the WBC champions, father told BT Sports. What have they signed? They've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. It's all about someone coming forward and saying, right, I'll pay for the fight, I'll stage the fight. Where are these people? That's the position it's in, and I don't think they can get it together. It's too big for what's happening and the climate the world is in at the moment. I just don't think the timing is right for a fight of that magnitude with the state of the world. Fury's senior words will be a major concern for boxing fans who are already concerned they'll be robbed of the first undisputed champion, relentless, and a clash for the ages. The deal announced this month was a step forward in the Fury sidestepping trilogy against Deontay Wilder, who he humiliated with a dominant knockout victory in February 2020. That was the last time Fury lumbered over the ropes, and Joshua has been in action more recently, out clashing in December. Tyson is fight twice this year, with or without AJ, Senior continued. Tyson is not bothered by any heavyweight on the planet. He past being bothered by this man or that man. It's a business for Tyson. We need to move on. Get a living properly, sharpen his tools, and keep him sharp in case that big night comes knocking. But I think they're dragging their heels a bit because they don't want it, and I don't blame them. So that's what's being said there. That's not my words. So you want to hear my take on it? Let's get my take on it. So all these people are jumping up and down. Yeah, the fight's been signed. Hey! And you saw I didn't respond. And I still haven't responded. This is my response now. I said, if you go back to my video, I said within 2 weeks we're going to hear about what's really going on. And if the fight's meant to be in June, well, we're in April, going into April, May, June. It's not much time to prepare for a fight of that magnitude. And Tyson himself, I don't know what's going on, to be honest, in terms of the deal. But I see Joshua doing a lot of training. Maybe there's another fight for him to take instead of this. I don't know. But Joshua, the last words that came out of Joshua's mouth was the fight was going to be in June. Now, I've told you already, and I'll tell you again, you can't believe most of what the mainstream media say, because for the most part, they are backed by the promoters. So if you want to be a superstar in the promoter's eyes, the media, for the most part, will back that. And if they don't want you to be a superstar and you're a pain in the ass, then they will make you demonize and look really bad. You've seen Tyson Fury in the media. We've seen it in the media. Tyson Fury being the bad guy in the media, and he's been terrible. He's been this. He's been that. And then now Tyson Fury's like the golden boy. You know. John, I don't even talk about that. Forget that. Let's move on. How long or how many fights does Fury have left on his ESPN contract? I think he's got 2 fights left, from what I understand. But I don't think. I think if Fury beats Joshua, I don't think there'll be a second fight. I don't think there'll be a second fight. I think he'll take the money in a run. I don't think he'll take a second fight with Joshua if he wins. Oh, they'll be ready in 8 weeks. LOL. Sure. You get for a fight of that magnitude, you're gonna have to do the press conferences. You're gonna have to do a tour. And this is the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, not just some unification bout of some belt in the lighter weights. It's a unification bout. It's unification bout. It's for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And to me, and it's still a thing. Usyk. What you also have to look at is Usyk's situation with Joe Joyce. That's another situation to look at. I don't think AJ Fury will be this year, to be honest. But I don't know. I don't know what to. You know what? I don't know what to believe anymore. But I know what not to believe, and it's most of the crap that comes out of these people's mouths. Have you ever heard of a fight that's been signed and then they're still looking for a venue like that? I mean, surely you announce the fight and the venue, you kind of put that together and then you make a big announcement. So I don't know. Don't know. So it all doesn't make very much sense to me, and I'm not getting excited about anything. If Joshua went on to fight the guy in China, I wouldn't be surprised. If Team Matchroom are trying to stall things out to make sure Tyson loses his head, and then what they do, one of the tactics they can do, and this is the sort of thing I can see Matchroom doing, is just stalling it, make Tyson look disinterested, and then say, we wanted to fight against you, let's fight now, and Joshua's already fought, and then put it to Tyson and say, here's the fight, take it now. For Tyson to say, nah, I've been out of the ring for almost 2 years now, and I need time to prepare. I can see one of them stunts being played, because that's the sort of shenanigans you can expect. I'll be in the same boat, Ingram. I don't know. I'm in the same boat. I don't know what to believe either. When the press conference happens, I'll have better hope. I wouldn't be even sure of that, because Tyson Fury versus Klitschko 2 was a press conference. That fight still hasn't happened. David Haye versus Tyson Fury, that was a press conference. That never happened twice. So none of it makes sense. No, it doesn't, because there's a lot of BS going on. The Wilder situation to me has still not been cleared up, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen it cleared up. People saying, well, it's cleared up now, it's sorted. One person said to me, Wilder lost. Another person said Wilder won. I would just like clarification as to what happened with the Deontay Wilder case. I'd like to know what happened there. Was he a crazy man? Wasn't he a crazy man? Did the contract expire? Didn't the contract expire? What is the whole situation and the real situation, and what happened? That's what I'd like to know. I'm more interested in that than this whole Fury Joshua scenario. Because if we can understand what happened with the Wilder contract, if we can understand what happened there, we'll have a greater detail as to what's going on with Joshua and Fury. It's like boxing, it's returning to one big pantomime. I might have to drag his old butt out of retirement to make new noise. I know, it's sad. I was looking forward to the trilogy too. I think that trilogy would have made a lot of money. The whole division is waiting on that arbitration. Yeah, but remember, Wilder's a crazy man. I mean, again, I can't understand how a crazy man, a man that doesn't know what he's talking about, a man that's doolally, a man that is occasionally thrown out, a man that's contract is expired, how this guy's still floating around. Because if the case was a situation where it was one just to be thrown to one side, we would have known about it already. And believe me, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Bob Aram, they'd been straight on it. Wilder, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't stand a chance. He said this, he said that. Oh, yeah, they threw it out of court. But I ain't hearing that. And these are the people you expect to hear it from. I don't think they're getting the big offers they want in this climate. Do you think AJ would fight his man Usyk in the meantime? No. I think AJ would want Joe Joyce to do his business for him. I think he'd want Joe Joyce to do the business for him. And I think he'd want to take that fight in China against that Zoom or whatever his name is. That's a fight I would go. If I'm AJ, I go to China. I've made a loss waiting for this Fury fight. Go to China and fight the Chinese guy. Make some. Wherever you go. Don't go abroad and get chinned, mate. Don't go abroad and get chinned. Go to China. Get this guy out of the way. Make a stack of money fighting that Chinese guy, that 7-foot Chinese guy who drew against Jerry Forrest. Fight him, and Power Man comes, or Hercules comes to Tokyo or Japan or wherever you want him to be, in China, wherever it is, and Joshua can go there and win that fight. I can see that happening. Zoom Zhang, yeah. Joshua versus Usyk is going to be great. LOL. Zhang, Zoom, Zhang. Okay, sorry, Zoom Zhang. Yeah, sorry. I think Usyk beats Joshua. Really? I think Usyk might be beating Joshua until he gets hit with one of them big right hands, and then he realizes he is no longer in the cruiserweight division, and wish he was still in that WBS tournament. I don't see Usyk is not improving as a fighter. He's not. He's going backwards. I keep saying this guy is going backwards. He's slowing down as well. And if guys like Derek Chisora can tag you, I think Joshua stands a good chance against Usyk now. He's not the same Usyk. I really don't. Anyway, I think Joe Joyce will wrap him up anyway. I really do. I think Joe Joyce is going to wrap Usyk up good and proper. And then all this Usyk talk will stop. You know? Because I just don't see what all the big fuss about Usyk is. He's not knocking out heavyweights left, right, and centre. He's not putting devastating performances on. So I'm not sure. I have come to understand in boxing, this particular era of boxing, that people will accept mediocre performance after mediocre performance after mediocre performance and still think a person's going to set the light on fire. When you keep getting repeated mediocre performances, that kind of tells you the indication that guys made their level. They've reached a certain level and they're not going to get any better. And Usyk's not going to get any better. They're not. He's not, because who's going to train him? Who's going to give him the skills necessary for him or the training to because to me, Usyk reminds me of Lennox Lewis before he got knocked out by Oliver McCall. He basically took his amateur skills and trained more or less himself. It took him to get knocked out for him to realize he needed to get a trainer in. And that's what Lennox did. He relied heavily on his amateur experience and stuff he picked up from the other trainers. And then he got caught by Oliver McCall when he came against a good, seasoned heavyweight who had a good chin and carried a big punch. And he managed to saw the weaknesses in Lennox Lewis, a big overhand right, would leave himself open, fall off balance, and he managed to took advantage of that. Yeah, Usyk Joyce is a great matchup. I'm more interested in seeing that fight this minute in time, if I'm honest with you. And I see what you mean about you're only as good as your last fight. Well, Usyk is only as good as his last 3 fights. I mean, tell me the last time that man has looked devastating. The Tony Bellew fight, he was being outboxed. Bellew ran out of steam. And then he fought Chaz Witherspoon. That wasn't impressive. Then he fought Derek Chisora. That certainly wasn't impressive. You could have given Derek Chisora even a draw in that fight. So I don't know how he goes from that to fighting Joe Joyce, who's just come off an impressive performance against Daniel Dubois. Yeah? Nah, I don't see it somehow. I don't see it. People are stuck up, still caught up. They're like in a time machine. They're stuck in their amateur days of Usyk and Joyce. Joyce is far more experienced and is physically a lot more stronger and imposing. I keep saying, Joe Joyce is the British George Foreman. He's the British George Foreman. And you watch how Joyce throws his punches when he gets you against the ropes. It's like cat and mouse. He uses the jab, gets you ropes, and then pummels you. And if Usyk sits on them ropes against, if he stays on traps on them ropes against, Joyce is going to catch him with something nasty. I've said it already. If Chaz Witherspoon can catch you, if Derek Chisora can catch you, you better be damn sure that George Joyce is going to catch you. And when he catches him, then you're going to understand. Then you're all going to come to understand. On the slide as well. Yeah, that's a very good point, Watcher. People don't seem to pay attention to, I guess maybe because of my coaching background as well, I'm looking to see improvements. I'm looking to see changes. I'm looking to see different dynamics. I'm looking to see fighters break patterns. That's what I know fighters are improving. But if fighters are coming out doing the same thing over and over and over again, you can kind of see what's going to happen eventually as they're walking into, Joshua Buatsi, Lawrence Okoli. Those are 2 guys there whose careers have been rejuvenated, and they've swerved the big L simply because they've made the adjustments and they've made the changes. If you look at Lawrence Okoli now compared to what he was doing beforehand, he looks better. Again, I don't think Glowacki looked great, but Lawrence Okoli made sure of it, that he wasn't going to be any sort of challenge. If he can do that against Breedis, who's my pick to leave the cruiserweight division and actually do things in the heavyweight division, having already knocked out the former WBA heavyweight champion, Manuel Shah, and you can knock a few good heavyweights out, in the heavyweight division. I would put Breedis in with Trevor Bryan tomorrow, and I go to bed at night knowing that's a good fight made. You know what I mean? Inactivity is a boxer's nightmare. It is. And even Tyson Fury will tell you. I mean, he was inactive when he fought Derek Chisora for the second fight, yeah? But this inactivity is kind of different because this is for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And everything's on the line. This is the opportunity to become the undisputed champion. So if Tyson is going to go and take a fight for 8 weeks' notice, I'd be very surprised. I'd be surprised if his dad allowed it, So, and then I'm hearing Wembley's back on the cards. I like Joyce, but he gets hit too often. Okay, and Usyk doesn't. And Usyk doesn't get hit too often. Come on, man. Thoughts on White-Bright fights? White said he wanted Bright. Bright responded. Well, you see how my words end up coming back to me yet again. I have been calling for the last 4 years or 5 years for Dillian Whyte to go down the WBA route and fight for the WBA title. Now he's calling out Trevor Bryan. And people come on this show and tell me, what are you talking about? He should go down the WBC route. I said, that's going nowhere. That is going nowhere. And where did it end up him leading Dillian Whyte to? Fights with damn Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker, Oscar Rivas, getting off the floor against them guys, getting knocked out by Alexander Povetkin, and now retaining his title against Ashok Povetkin. I mean, or COVID, a post-COVID Povetkin. So, and he's WBC interim champion. So you're telling me in all that time, he couldn't have got a shot at the WBA type champion? That remains to earn good. This is my point. This is my point. He could have been potentially WBA champion all now. And he would have had, but then maybe it was a blessing in disguise. He got knocked out by Povetkin because now he's got Howard the Shadow Knight in his corner. I don't know. I really don't know. I think the WBO will make the Bridgerweight division. Collie said he wants to be a 3-weight world champion. Maybe they know something we don't, Ingram. Potentially. Usyk gets hit too often, no doubt. Yes, I was saying the same thing about White. Give me 1 second. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Back we go. Sorry about that, people. Yep, I was saying the same thing about White going to WBA. Do you think that fight is likely to be made? Yeah, I think so. Trevor Bryan could take that fight. Definitely, there's the WBA, the WBC belt, the interim belt there. It gives Trevor Bryan a chance to step right into that #1 position for the heavyweight championship world at WBC. Why not? I can vouch for that, Ingram. You were saying it years ago when he won WBC Diamond against Helenius, I think. There you go. I remember you just White Sharp for years, but they went the WBC route, which failed. I could see failing from the start. Usyk will put a clinic on Joyce. Oh, boy. Yeah. This is the sort of comment I like to highlight. Who's Usyk put a clinic on? He didn't put a clinic on against Derek Chisora. He's never been an Olympic gold medalist or close to Olympic level. He didn't put a clinic on against Chaz Witherspoon. He didn't put a clinic on against Breedis. So the last time I saw Usyk put a clinic on somebody was Gasayev, who's one-dimensional anyway, or maybe Glowacki when he was with Bashir. So I don't know where you talk about clinics, mate. I suggest you go and watch some more boxing, mate. Really, study the sport a bit better. There we go. I like that fight. I certainly like the fight too. I think it's a great fight. I think it's definitely a great fight. Definitely a great fight, and it's an interesting fight. Can't see quite yet who wins that fight because Trevor Bryan's got a bit of skill there. And he's got a good jab, good right hand. He does all the fundamentals right. He's not brilliant at any one thing, but he's pretty decent at everything. You know? Good fighter. Yeah, Joyce thrives on the under attack. I mean, you've got a guy in Joyce. You've got a guy in Joyce who's long arms, punches like a mule, takes a great shot. He's got a fantastic engine, arguably a better engine than Alexander Usyk. He could arguably be an Olympic gold medalist, but he's an Olympic pedigree. And has just come off a career best win against Daniel Dubois, who was most people's picked to be one of the most devastating heavyweights in boxing today. And that's a young heavyweight he did that against. What's Usyk been doing? That's so masterful. It's a shame Joyce isn't 10 years younger. It's a very valid point, Neil. But then I think Joyce is what, 30? Heavyweights mature as they get older, Neil. So I think Joyce might be coming to his own now. I think if he was 10 years younger, he might not be what he is today. You understand? So I think we've got the best of Joe Joyce. I think we've got to really appreciate him while he's there. He has got a lot of Lennox Lewis mannerisms about him, he's got Lennox Lewis mannerisms. Lennox is one of these guys who are pretty quiet, but if you called his name out, he'd step to you. I remember once Joyce was in the background. It was at the one of these arenas, and it was a press conference. There was I think it might have been Derek Chisora, and it was post-fight, and they were talking about a fight, and then all of a sudden Joyce come out of somewhere. It might have been Daniel Dubois. He said, who's talking about me? Joyce is one of them guys that he might look unassuming, but give him a day, he'll get himself totally prepared, and he's a very intimidating figure. And I think a lot of people are just looking past Joe Joyce because of the Usyk fight how many years ago. Usyk hasn't got better. Joe Joyce has. And if you can't see that, then, my dear. Okay, let's see. I'll tell you that fight. Like I said, in the pre-fight to that, I gave you inside information about that fight with Stiverne. I said he damaged his arm going into that fight, and the fight was almost off between him and what's his name? Bright, Trevor Bright. He was injured, and less than 24 hours after that fight, you saw his shoulder being getting repaired in hospital, getting his shoulder being done. So Stiverne's shoulder went in around the second round of that fight. So he did really well considering all things. Just Fury and Usyk. Why would Holden? Why would Usyk's movement give Joyce problems? Did Usyk's movement give Derek Chisora problems? Did Usyk's movement give Tony Bellew problems? Did Usyk's movement give Marius Briedis problems? When you talk about movement and giving people problems, Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Canelo, that's giving people problems. Lara, when he fought Canelo, that's movement, that's giving people problems. Mayweather, when he fought Guerrero, that's giving people problems. Mayweather, when he fought Marquez, that's giving people problems. You can't track a man down, you can't hit a man with your best shot, and he's constantly moving, and he's hitting you shots and you can't nail him. That's giving people problems. Usyk is getting hit by the likes of Derek Chisora and with Chaz Witherspoon and getting outboxed by flipping Tony Bellew. How is that movement? Mate, I really don't know what you're drinking, Ruben Guerrero, but you seriously need to ask for a refund on whatever you're smoking tonight, because it ain't good stuff. Usyk is way too easy to back. Yeah, he is. He's too easy to get to ropes, and he's physically not that strong. But keep on talking about Alexander Usyk. Keep talking about him. So yeah, but coming back to John Fury, just to finish off. John Fury is a man that will speak his mind for the most part. Put that Mickey Field thing to one side. That's a separate issue. But this situation here, we're talking about his son and money. I believe John. I really do. And who's going to tell John to shut up? So I don't. So John Fury says they've signed nothing. That's heavy. It pretty much is, isn't it? Ruiz versus Ariel fight. Thoughts? Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you something. You know, everybody's jumping up, and some of these tricks have been played over and over and over again, and they think that people don't see. Andy Ruiz lost all this weight. Oh, Ruiz is in great shape. Ruiz is in great shape. Oh, he's lost all this weight. He's going to come in better. All right, let's see it against somebody who is active. So who's the active guy we're bringing out? We're rolling out Chris Arreola. Really? Chris Arreola? Are you having a laugh? And you would just want to see. And then if he looks devastated against Chris Arreola, you'll say, oh, Andy Ruiz is back. He's back. He's lost weight and he's rededicated to the sport. Chris Arreola, are you having a laugh? Are you really having a laugh? You know a fight I would have put? I would have had Andy Ruiz come back and fight Robert Helenius. That's a fight to have. Helenius is long, he's tall, you know, he's got a good jab, he's got a good right hand. That's a good fight to have. That's a good fight to have, right? Chris Arreola, you having a laugh? Ruiz Jr. looking good in the gym, but Arreola's jumping off the couch. So what will this prove? That's my point. And what it proves is that once again, the boxing matchmakers are making a mockery of boxing fans. This is what they call a dip your toes in the water fight. A dip your toes in the water because we really don't trust Andy Ruiz. We really don't have that much confidence in Andy Ruiz. Because if you had that much confidence in Andy Ruiz and that much confidence in losing weight, you wouldn't stick him in against flipping Chris Arreola. But hey, then again, they're both Mexican, so it's a Mexican fight. So two Mexican heavyweights fighting, why not? Ruiz Kawanaki will get knocked clean out by Andy Ruiz. Why do you bring up such crap fights? Kawanaki versus Ruiz. It's about a guy who's very durable, takes a great shot, he's got a good left hook, and he's a very good heavyweight when he's in shape. Kawanaki is always overrated from the start, and I told you that. Guys fights for his face. What I really like to sink my teeth into Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman. That fight is done. That's a fight's a wash. That fight's a wash. Keith Thurman has knocked a guy out in what, 4 or 5 years? The last time he knocked somebody out was Diaz. He's weak to the body, and the desire for Keith Thurman doesn't even want to fight again. His name is now Keith Payday Thurman. His injury to his shoulder, he's not the same fighter anymore. And so Terence Crawford's fighting a guy that's done. Thurman's finished. Done. Payday Thurman. You know what I mean? Since he got married and he met that lady, good luck to him. You know, he's Payday Thurman now. Forget Thurman. All he uses for a payday. That's harsh, but that's what it is. Yeah, Diaz was the last KO Thurman had. So you're looking at a guy that he's not knocking guys out anymore. Is quite easy to hit. Back Thurman up. He doesn't know what to do when you back him up against the ropes. And he's not the guy he was when he fought Sean Porter and he fought Danny Garcia. And those two guys are not even technically as gifted as Crawford. So don't even go there. It's a terrible fight. Personally, it's an absolute terrible fight. You saw what Manny Pacquiao did to Keith Thurman. So imagine what Manny Pacquiao did to Keith Thurman, plus a younger, more spiteful guy who can fight left-handed and right-handed. Man, Thurman needs to go and sit down and retire, man. Forget Thurman. Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter. Now we're talking a fight. Now we're talking a fight. The question is, can Crawford hit Porter hard enough to get his respect to not stop him coming charging forward? Can Porter disrupt Crawford's rhythm? Will he allow Crawford to get his space? And has Porter learned his lesson about when he crowds that he's there to throw quality punches? Or is he going to walk onto a check left hook like he did against Broner, or walk onto a shot like he did against Errol Spence? It's a great fight, though. That's a great fight. Hello, hopefully the loss has made Kawanaki change. Hey, forget Kawanaki, man. Forget him. Forget Kawanaki. Moving on. The best of Thurman that we saw was versus Porter and then Danny Garcia. After that, the injuries came and he's not been the same fighter, but that fight would be fun. Listen, the last time I spoke to Thurman, I think he was carrying the injury then. Keith Thurman was throwing punches like a fast bowler. The only other person I've seen throw punches like a fast bowler was Dillian White. Literally throw an overhand right like a fast bowler when he's fighting Povetkin. I swear it was an overhand right. It was a bowling overhand right he threw. But other than that, the only other person I thought threw punches so wildly is Thurman. And if you keep throwing punches and tensing up the way Thurman was, you're eventually gonna get hurt. Definitely gonna get hurt. What do you think of Dillian White? I find him boring. I can't lie or front. No politics, race. Just find him boring, bro. Well, it depends. I mean, I can't speak for you. I mean, I like saltfish, but you may like don't know. You might like cod. So I can't really speak on why you find Dillian White boring. I think the last two fights have been quite interesting. I mean, he was winning a fight and got laid out flat, and then he came back and fought the guy, and it was interesting through that fight. I thought the fight was interesting, though. It depends what you're looking for, mate. Depends what you're looking for. Thurman, probably biggest punch in the division. No. Spence is probably the biggest punch in the division based on what he did to Danny Garcia. Did you see how Danny Garcia didn't want to come forward against Spence, apart from the last 30 seconds of that fight? Now, I think Spence is a harder puncher than Thurman today. Porter is a no joke, great fight. Of course it is. Definitely a great fight. I was hoping Vetkin and White KO each other. I can't stand them. Oh, dear. Ouch. Blood's a bit too sharp for Storm, possibly. The only great fight out there is Ingram versus Doug Fisher. Ingram check hook against Doug Fisher's pressure. Sounds like a barber. Mate, you always want to try and get me out of retirement. What is your issue with that? But it's 35. By the time he gets the next big fight, Porter could ice him. Yeah, that's not good. Crawford's got to be fighting some decent guys soon, man. I tried saltfish once. It's an acquired taste, but at least I tried it. I like that. Good comeback. But at least Bud beats anyone below 154. Based on his resume or your own thoughts. And Kawanaki is the biggest bore in history. Oh dear. Do you think Tony Yoka is a genuine challenger? Yes. Hell yes, I think he is. I think that guy's dangerous. I think he's one of them guys who's going to be a slow burner. I think he's going to be a slow burner. Biding his time, and then boom, that's one of them guys. Them sleeper guys that just suddenly arrive on the scene one night. Tony Yoka, I rate him highly. Saltfish is nice, although I tried it done by old Jamaican lady. The real thing is delicious. I need to have it done by Trinidadian. Can't beat a Trinidadian saltfish. Sorry. But yeah, Crawford's resume, you know, that's the problem with Crawford. I think he's got to fight a PBC fighter. He's got to fight Sean Porter. And I don't think fans should accept the Keith Thurman fight. They really shouldn't. Tony Yoka is nothing in my opinion. Mate, you're just trolling. I'm sure you're trolling. Sean Porter's pressure has the type of pressure that could win a fight or will make him punch when he doesn't want to punch. I would like to see Crawford figure that out. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes that a great fight. Tony Yoka is a version of David Price. Really? Have you seen Yoka fight before? Did you see the beating he put on Dave Allen? I mean, that was terrible. Tony Yoka's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. I guess you haven't taken the time to watch him. He's a good fighter. What do you all think of this fight of Hughie Fury versus David Price? I'd like to know what you think about that fight. That'd be interesting. Right. I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you all so much for watching, as always. You like that one? Neil Hart says he likes that one. wait. He beat Dave Allen until he became Steve Allen. Makes it funny because I've actually got an old school friend called Steve Allen. What do you think of Hrgovic Hunter? POV should have awarded KO in Hunter fight and Hrgovic big puncher. Hrgovic is just stiff, man. Hrgovic is stiff and it's got no heart. I'm telling you, Hrgovic is stiff and he ain't got no heart. If Hunter can get past the jab of Hrgovic and can get on the inside, he's going to give Hrgovic a nightmare. If he can get on the inside of Hrgovic, I told you, Eastern European fighters cannot fight on the inside. And Hunter's got enough dog in him to beat the crap out of Hrgovic. Hrgovic is okay if you stand like that and you let him out the jab and throw that big right hand. Hrgovic is good like that. But the Eastern Europeans, they're stiff. They're stiff. And as soon as you get inside of them, they don't know what to do. So they panic like Golota. You'll just, as soon as Hrgovic can get in, as soon as Hunter can get inside of Hrgovic, he'll beat the crap out of him. Like I told you about Kuzman. You don't listen. Like I told you against that, what's his name? Ustinov. Look how big Ustinov is and how to beat the crap out of him. It's not about the size and the punching power because Hrgovic ain't going to land them shots. Hrgovic can land them shots against Tom Little and flipping, what's the other guy? The Irish guy. You can't do that against Hunter. You're looking at a skilled heavyweight who's fought at the Olympic level. And get out of here, Hrgovic, man. Behave yourself. Hrgovic, whose price is garbage. Of course it's garbage. Will you be at Fury versus AJ live? Will I be there? Well, it depends. Hunter's good at fighting those two guys. That's what I'm saying. It's a bad fight for Hrgovic. And Hrgovic ain't fought nobody yet. He ain't fought no one. Who's Hrgovic for? A bunch of Z-class fighters. What's the hype about Hrgovic? Get out of here, man. Move. Go to sleep, man. Go and sleep. I think, bro, Hrgovic is different graver. He stopped Hunter, bro. All right. I don't think so. Don't think so. Well, how can he be different gravy? First of all, you can't hit what you can't see. Hrgovic ain't that fast. And you're going to tell me Hrgovic is faster than Hunter. And Hrgovic can punch faster than Hunter. Come on, man. Behave yourself, man. Behave yourselves. His jab right hand is good. Okay, sit there. Guys, you forget about the American upper body movement. That upper body movement, all that sort of stuff. And plus, Hunter's got a nice jab to the body, brings the right hand on top. I'm telling you, Hrgovic, man. I like Hrgovic, but you have to put him in the right fights. And the Hunter fight is not a good fight for Hrgovic. Hunter will hit that body like a heavy bag. Yes, that's it. Break him, slow him down. And you have to understand Hrgovic's mental state. Go and watch the Joe Joyce fight in the amateurs. Right? Hrgovic was doing all right until Joyce put it on him. And when Joyce put it on him, he broke his heart. Go back and watch the amateur fight. This heart, when these guys like to throw big punches, when they start getting thrown back at them and they start being drawn into a war, you'll see him malfunction. Wait and see. Wait and see before my eyes what happened with Hrgovic. Hrgovic fought some real dogs like who? Accomplished amateur too. Yeah? So is Hunter but but he's an accomplished pro, Hunter. Accomplished pro. Okay, let's look at Hunter's resume. Usyk, Povetkin, Bakole, Kuzman. Now let's look at Hrgovic's resume. Who's he for? Only lost 8 rounds against Hrgovic. Okay, well, you're entitled to your opinion. Fades. Hrgovic versus Dave Allen then. Hrgovic will beat the crap out of Dave Allen because Dave Allen's a sitting duck. He doesn't move his feet. He just move forward. Hrgovic will get into rhythm, get the jab going, get Allen at a distance, using that jab, and then pummeling him with that right hand. That's what happened. Because there's no movement there. This is called the sweet science for a reason. No matter how many fights you guys see, come up with the same old garbage all the time, but you don't learn, you don't watch the science of boxing, footwork, head movement. You know what I mean? When you can't put a jab on someone, Hrgovic has got to find that jab first. He's one of them guys who's got to find the jab. He's got to put the jab on you. Hrgovic has to put his jab on you. If he can't put his jab on you, he's not going to be able to put that right hand on you. He's got to find that jab first. So the jab's a rangefinder. He uses also defensively to keep you out there, and also to use the jab to open up range, and to find range. If Hrgovic can't find you with that jab, if you can't find with the jab, which you won't find Hunter with a jab, like he finds all these slow heavyweights that come forward him like that, that's where Hrgovic is going to have a problem. Hunter will slip inside the jab because of the foot speed, slip inside the jab or double up the jab to the chest, double up the jab to the chest quickly and back Hrgovic up. When you back Hrgovic up, then you close the range down. That doesn't allow the big man to use leverage to throw them big shots, taking away the punching power, taking away leverage, and then Hunter with the shorter arms gets inside and does damage. That's how you beat Hrgovic up. Hunter got him for the IBF shot, eliminated. If you really think you really want to chance Hrgovic's career, go ahead and stick him in with an accomplished amateur and pro, experienced amateur and experienced pro with Michael Hunter. Go ahead. Don't sit down and tell me Hrgovic is a better boxer than Usyk, because then I know you were all smoking something tonight. Somebody exactly break down how Hrgovic beats, how he actually beats Hunter. Break it down for me. He's just going to go out there, throw the jab and throw the right hand, and Hunter's going to fall over. Yeah, of course, that's what Hunter does, right? I just put some science on you guys there. Some of you guys have put science on. Come on, Ruben. Break it down for me how Hrgovic goes and beats a guy who's got better footwork than him, better combination puncher than him, fought better opposition than him, and far more experience as a pro. How does it happen? Of course Hunter's gonna beat the brakes off Hrgovic. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But like I told you about Kuzman. Oh, Kuzman's great. Kuzman's going to do this. Kuzman's going to do that. And Kuzman got the brakes beaten off him. And while I'm on the subject of Kuzman, Martin Bakole needs to either change his trainer or worry about his defense. Because Martin Bakole is next on that line of heavyweights to get knocked out. Because he takes too many flush right hands. You can't be taking them punches. Punch from the gods. Oh my God. He just looks like another Valuev, honestly. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. And a big guy with a big head like that, with punches, yeah, listen, when you look at that guy, does he look like a heavyweight great? Does he look like if in the era of Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, would you be talking about that guy? You wouldn't. That guy would be getting beat up regularly. So I don't want to hear about that guy, man. Until he fights somebody decent. All these Eastern European guys, until they fight somebody decent, I don't want to hear their names. And don't bring the name on my channel, man, because you keep bringing these guys up who don't fight nobody and giving them plaudits for doing what? Nothing. And then you don't give plaudits to guys who actually do something and are doing something credible in sport. Did you hear the announcement huge up that Asala and Wiseman merge? Yeah, never heard of Wiseman either. I like that one, that's good. What? Oh my God. Ruben, you're trolling tonight, mate. Did you see Vladimir Klitschko's coming back? Well, if he's coming back, that's no surprise. We kind of told you that 2 years ago. It's old news. We told you he'd come back, so he's going to come back. He wants to come back and be the oldest heavyweight champion in history. That's the plan. So that's nothing new there. He throws better punches than Valiev, looks more schooled. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Dear me. Yeah, Klitschko coming back to become the oldest heavyweight champion in history. Yep. Be interesting. Be interesting. Would fans pay for an interim fight of Joshua versus Klitschko 2? Would they pay for that if they couldn't get Joshua versus Fury? Would they pay to see Joshua versus Fury, Klitschko 2? I wonder. What did I make of Fabian Wardley's performance? I know he can take a good punch. I know that Molina came to win. There's two Molinas. There's two Molinas in terms of their fight. The first Molina comes out and backs himself against the ropes. That's the Molina who don't want to fight. That Molina that fought tonight wanted to fight. And Molina can punch hard. Molina can punch, right? Well, if he comes to fight, he can actually crack. And I was worried about Fabio Wardley because I had intel on Molina's punching power. And he can punch. Heard it around many gyms in America, and Molina can punch. One thing he can do. And he cracked Wardley, and that was a test. And Fabio Wardley showed he could take a shot. And the Sky commentary team need a slap. That guy, Fabio Wardley, stepped up, hadn't had much of an amateur career. It's a pro game, and he's much to learn for Fabio Wardley. I'm like, well, hold on a second. He stepped up in class. He fought a guy in Molina who gave, Wilder one of the toughest fights of his career, wobbled and rocked Wilder, even got dropped twice. Wilder dropped him twice and still came back and rocked Wilder. So, I mean, Molina has, I think he even knocked, did he even knock out Helenius or he knocked out Adamek? One of them two guys he knocked out. So, Molina's not a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter and he can punch. They all can punch at heavyweight, but he's not a bad fighter. I just think the Sky commentary made that look worse than it actually is. Sky needs to stop commentating. It's garbage commentary. Absolute garbage. Yeah, I know, but he's definitely going to come back for sure. But he's come back to become the oldest heavyweight champion in history for sure. He'll come back. Do you see Wardley at Price happening? I wouldn't want to see that fight, to be honest. No. No better fight than AJ than Vladimir Klitschko again. Yeah, this time he's bigger and stronger and faster, and he wants revenge. Wardley with chin Price. Maybe. I would like to see David Price landing on Wardley's chin. That's all I'm saying. The finish was quite impressive. Actually, that sneaky left-right on the jaw took Molina's. Yeah, that showed what kind of a fighter that Wardley is. He's made a tough stuff. Yeah, Molina gave Wilder fits. That's what I'm saying. So Wardley came for a good test there. Wardley was faking a bit too much for me. Low output, his hands, low style. Could get found out. But Hrgovic won't get found out fighting nothing but bums. He won't get found out against fighting an experienced fighter. But Wardley, who's just had a test, a genuine test against a good top 20 heavyweight, is going to get found out. You don't make sense, mate. You really don't make sense. I like the Adam Smith impression. Yeah, He's much to learn. He's much to learn, Fabian Wardley. It's not gone exactly the way as planned, but shit. I just listen to it, I'm like, my gosh. That people pay pay-per-view for this garbage. I think enough boxing people need to write in and tell the boxing world, the Sky Sports, we will buy pay-per-view, but not with Adam Smith commentary. We deserve better. Sky commentary have become unlistenable. Of course it's become unlistenable. What were they talking about? They should have been praising Wardy for coming through a good test against a top 20 heavyweight. I heard Eubank Jr. and Brook could happen. This is terrible for Brook. Yeah, I heard that, but also Amir Khan could fight Brook. Brook's in it for the money. He can't say brave now he can knock Brook out now. Yeah, come on, Molina, top 20. Come on, man. Molina's not a top 20 heavyweight. Come on, man. Come on, man. Molina's a top 10. I would say he's a top 20 heavyweight. In my rankings, I'd put him a top 20 heavyweight. Depends what rankings we're looking at now. Are we looking at WBC? Are we looking at WBA? Are we looking at IBF? Are we looking at WBO? So in the WBA, he could be a valid top 20 heavyweight. So what, you're going to argue me on this one now? Jesus Christ. These people, I tell you sometimes. I think Molina's a good heavyweight. Okay, top 30 then, top 30. But he's a top 30 heavyweight for sure, for absolute sure. Fury's got cold feet now. They're a bit more than they can chew, and AJ's closing the net on them. They don't fancy it. You believe that? You believe they don't fancy that fight? I don't see why they wouldn't fancy that fight. He's gone in there and fought Deontay Wilder twice. Arguably the biggest puncher in heavyweight boxing, in world boxing today. Gone to America, gone to his backyard and fought him. What does AJ do so great that, well, he fought the guy that AJ didn't want to fight. AJ didn't want to fight, or AJ's management, or Barry Hearn did not want the Wilder fight. This is the year they were meant to be fighting Wilder. Okay? So I don't believe that Fury's feet are going cold and he don't want it. I don't believe that for 1 second. He went across to Germany and he went and fought Klitschko. He went across to America twice and fought Deontay Wilder. AJ, his first fight, traveling abroad, got knocked out by Andy Ruiz. I know who would be, if I were talking about cold feet, the only person I think would have cold feet would be AJ, based on the fact that their team are still trying to get money back after that loss to Andy Ruiz. Because yes, the Kubrat Krudev fight was impressive, but people are still not that impressed with AJ based on the Ruiz performance. So, and the in-out performance against Ruiz, you know. So that loss to Ruiz made a lot of I think a lot of damage on AJ's marketability. What do you think of Congo fight? I thought he was a very talented prospect. His attitude to loss shows he's serious. I haven't seen the Congo fight. Sorry, I will have to check that out. I didn't look at the Kamaru fight either. Molina had Kurgovic has Molina in his record too. Yes, and Molina probably in that fight didn't fancy the fight. You know what Molina fancied the fight because the Molina who fancied the fight comes forward. I told you it's two Molinas. When he don't fancy a fight, he's on the back foot looking for the way out. That's what I did when I did the preview for the Joshua fight. I said, you'll know in the first 30 seconds where Molina's come to fight, always come to fall over. And you saw it in the Joshua fight. First 30 seconds, backwards against the ropes. A few minutes later, Josh had him out of there. Don't spread fake news. My Wilder turned down 100 million to fight AJ. Do you forgot that? Or do you forget the Barry Hearn interview where Barry Hearn sat down and said that Wilder wants to fight Joshua now and Shelley Finkel's crazy and that fight shouldn't happen until 2021 at the earliest? That's what I remember, and that video's still out there on IFL. So go out there and read that, watch that video. It ain't fake news, it's facts. Go and watch the video. Did Molina wobble Herkovic? I don't know. Did he wobble Herkovic? Yeah, I'm going to come out now. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, really appreciate you all. This is BWTM Sports. We're going to get out of here. Take care.